Men over 40 who won't commit. The big question that women have is this somebody that I can start a relationship with? Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I want to welcome back Robert Manni, our very own Guy's Guy, the author of the Guy's Guide to Love and host of Guy's Guy Radio and TV right here on YouTube. Thanks for being here again, Robert.
Thank you so much, Silka.
Robert, we have the perfect topic for you. Today's segment is about you. Men over 40 who won't commit, or will they commit? The big question that women have is, is this guy, is he serious? Is this somebody that I can start a relationship with? So I found an article, again, written by a woman, which makes it even more interesting here. But a good topic, don't you think?
Excellent topic, and it's something that's been on a lot of women's minds over the years because they're wondering, like, what's with this guy? And is there something wrong with men who are over 40 and aren't married? And I wasn't married till I hit 50.
This is actually a really relevant topic for this channel because so many of us are starting over again. So we're in that age group. And when we do run into people who are, forget 40, those could be our kids, but 50 and over that have never been married, you do, I wonder why. So,
Sure.
but today is the traits that this author, who happens to be a dating coach for women, successful women over 40, says these men display. So let's see what you think about that. First one here, he asks you out inconsistently. She says that if a man over 40, man later in life for our purposes, sporadic dates means that he wants to keep it casual.
Well, I would not disagree with that. The issue I have kind of with the article is a lot of these points are not exclusive to men over 40. I think they can happen just in general. So in this case, if a guy asks you out inconsistently, it could be he's dating other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. If it depends on what cards are on the table in terms of that, or he's still formulating a decision about what his interest level is for you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as it's not being deceptive. Well, let's put it this way. Most people who just meet, or if they meet online or something, they're probably juggling. They're probably seeing other people. And it's going to be a winnowing process to get to one-on-one. So if you've been going out for a couple of months and it's inconsistent, then you should ask yourself, how many other women is he dating? Because that's got to be the case, or he's super busy. But it's worth having a conversation.
If you as a woman are looking for a committed relationship and there is no consistency there after a while, I would definitely take that as a red flag, and or as you say, have a conversation about it and see how he replies. This is interesting too. He's never been in love before. That if he says he's never been in love before, that's kind of strange for somebody over 40. She's implying that there's maybe past traumas or fears of commitment issues, but definitely something you should pay attention to.
I would agree with that. I mean, and it depends. Love has a lot of different meanings and a lot of different contexts. But has he ever been in a relationship before, a long-term relationship or one-on-one relationship? I think that's more important because love can be defined in different ways. That said, if he says, I've never felt love for another person before, another woman before, another partner before, that'd be an eyebrow raiser, because you would think after 40, everybody's gone through some type of relationship. So if he hasn't had that feeling of love ever, that would be strange. That would be a red flag.
I would agree. Again, if you're a woman looking for a commitment and that's something he admits or uses as an excuse for slowing things down or whatever, it is something to be concerned about. I agree. I would be. Here's one too that I do agree with. He avoids introducing you to his friends. That introducing you to his friends is almost an essential benchmark. She writes here that you want to show you off. If he's serious about you, he wants to include you and show you off, and we'll see if his friends even like you, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. When I lived and worked in New York City, yeah, if I dated a new woman and after a while, after a couple of months or whatever, I'd want her to meet my friends or want my friends to meet her. And you get it. Also, you get that second opinion from your friends and you see how they mix if there's good chemistry there. And it could be a really good thing. The fact that he hasn't introduced you to his friends yet probably means he's either too busy or they're too busy or he's not sure if he feels comfortable yet introducing you to some of his close associates.
Bringing you into his life
Yeah,
in
exactly.
in a deeper,
Yeah.
and the whole thing, the point for the too busy, I think you would agree with me, or I'll ask you, is if somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it if they really want to do
That's
something.
true. If they're going to find the time. And, when you're in the city though, and you have these busy jobs and stuff, and you travel and this and that, sometimes you don't see your friends for months, much less introduce your new girlfriend to your friends, and they might say, "Hey, it's another one for you." They might not be take it that seriously, but if you really want to introduce them, your new girlfriend to them,
Mhm.
you're going to tell them, "Hey, this is somebody I want you to meet." But if you've been single for a long time and they know you've gone through a lot of different relationships and have had different girlfriends, they'll make themselves available, but it's not a top priority. So they may be busy and you may be busy also. But if you haven't made that effort or you don't have that interest in introducing your new connection to your
Mhm.
friends after a couple of months, that to me would be a little bit of a mini red flag.
It's funny that you say that the friends maybe don't take it seriously because you are someone that goes through a lot of women. That's a
Right.
whole other issue than in and of
Yes.
itself. Is yeah, it's somebody that we just spoke of that you've never been in love or never met the right one. So here again, his career or interests. I added interest always comes first because at our age, career, yeah, sure, there's still, a lot of people still have their careers, but it's more, I think what our women our age are going to run into is men who just, well, they have other interests, they have hobbies, whatever. But if you never feel like a priority, if he's always doing something else over wanting to spend time with you, if you feel like you're being left out, that's a flag, if you will, that you should definitely look at.
Yeah, I think the way you expressed it makes perfect sense. How it was phrased in the article in terms of his career is more important. Your career is going to come first until you get into a serious relationship. So I don't think anybody should take that seriously. And you want somebody to be driven, you want them to passion, you want them to be successful. So until you break through, and I put that onus on the other person, that you want to break through to make yourself a priority, but you don't want you don't want your guy to throw his career, put his career aside for you, and just in general, because they both are very important. Now, of course, you want to be number one, but you also want the guy to do his job and be successful. So you have to find that balance. It shouldn't be either or.
It's funny. This one is to me, it's more of a red flag for men than women. I think that there's a lot more here. That if you have issues with wanting to be the priority, then you might be a very controlling person, or I mean, you have to let somebody else have their interests. So there's a slippery slope here that we can do almost a whole other segment on this.
Yeah.
Just, are you a priority in his life, at least at some,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes? Well, here's another interesting one. I wonder what you think about this one. He's overly attentive before the first date. Her point is here that, well, that might feel really good. You're texting, you're almost getting to know each other over, well, phone calls even, but that he might be setting you up so where he can take that date a little further and then eventually ghost you, is what she's saying.
I don't think that's a function of age. I think it's a function of character. And of course, guys do that, and they do it
Mm-hmm.
often because it's salesmanship. They want to see how far they can get as quickly as they can. And then they make a determination after, is this something I want? Is this somebody I want to go back to? Is this somebody I want to have a relationship? But there's going to be, it's like, think about when you sell a car. Are you friends with the guy who sold you your car? You are when you're going through the process. They're your best friend. And then they ghost you after, they put the keys in your hand and you sign the check.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how life is. So you have to be aware of that. You have to have your radar up and your antenna up for those things. And this is just the way it is. If you sense that somebody's just selling you something, then you have to be warned that
Mm-hmm.
it might not turn out the way you want.
I thought it was an interesting. I've never thought about that. That he's, yeah, you're being warmed up. I can maybe identify with that for a few times. And again, it would be interesting to hear from our women. Does that spark a little trigger there? Have you experienced that? And maybe the men, do you do that on purpose? I don't know. Interesting point. Here, we've talked about this before, but he only calls you when he's out. That if he's on the road or out, hey, I'm thinking about you or whatever, that could indicate that he's a cheater. It's basically what they're getting to.
It could be, not necessarily so. Maybe he just does all his conversations and his communications on the go. And then when he gets home, he just decompresses and that's it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how you break through and find out unless you spend enough time with somebody to say, hey, how come I never just say, can I give you a call at home tonight? You're going to be home tonight. You have to, you have to take the initiative to get to the bottom of these things if they're things that you think are concerning.
I agree. Yeah, how would you know that? I don't know. I mean, I agree that if he only calls when he's out, that is concerning, depending on how long you let it go on. And to your point, then just address it. If that's bothering you right now in a relationship, think about that. Here's one also that is totally applicable, I think, to us, that he won't introduce you to his kids. That it's understandable, when men introduce you or don't introduce you to their younger children. But adult children, why would they be off limit? Again, this could be a whole other segment, but what do you think about this one?
Well, haven't been when I was single, I didn't have any kids, and I did date
Mm-hmm,
married women who had been married or had kids.
mm-hmm,
And when they introduced me to them, I took that as a sign of the interest and I was also getting the once over by the kids. So it's hard for me to comment on that, but I think I think it's a major issue that when a guy wants to introduce you to his kids or a woman wants to introduce you to her kids, it's a big deal, and
mm-hmm,
you should be on your best behavior, and it's a good thing.
mm-hmm.
So if that's being held back, that may be because the other person is not sure yet. That's not their fault. They're not. That doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. That's on you.
Yeah, they're either the interest isn't there, or and because I've gone through this, there's a serious concern whether or not the kids will like you, or maybe there
Oh,
is an
sure.
there is an issue with the ex, or that the kids
Hmm.
have ruined a relationship before. So that might be a flag that you're walking into something you really don't want to deal with if you're looking
Exactly.
for a committed long-term relationship. So kids can absolutely, adult children can ruin relationships, and we've
Oh yeah.
done we've done segments
Oh
on
yeah.
that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can also be wonderful. I have three fabulous adult children in my life, Paul's kids. So I'm not, it's not always an issue by any means,
Right.
but my
Right.
goodness, it can be. So yeah, that's a one to look out
Family
for.
too, not just kids, but family.
Yes.
That's got you got to sync, and that's just hey, it's just another part of life, another part of
Yeah.
relationship building where you want it all to work, and sometimes it all works, and sometimes three-quarters of it works, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to take it from
Take it.
there. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't, and a lot of these things, we can't just always throw it on the other person. We have to,
Mm-hmm.
if we want to find something out, find a way that's a nice way of finding out the information you want to find out. How come you don't call me when you're at home? I wouldn't confront somebody with that, but I'd say, can I give you a call at home? Or whatever the issue is, you want to get to the bottom of it and just take the steps to find out what you want to learn. That's my little rant, my mini
Yeah.
rant.
But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that goes for both sexes, men and women.
Yep.
So here's one to me that's totally obvious, but I guess it doesn't hurt to drill it home. But he always leaves right after staying over. That he always leaves first thing in the morning, and even if you're maybe at his place, he finds a reason why he has to leave. That there's no lingering. That, not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, because maybe he does have weekend plans, maybe, but if it's a constant thing, at least if you're somebody looking for a committed relationship, that's not the best sign.
Right. Well, I agree. Now, it could be that he's concerned initially that, well, maybe he thinks you want him to get out the next morning. If
Mm-hmm.
it's an ongoing, there's a lot of different variables there. However, if you've been going out a while and every time Saturday morning, boom, he gets up and he leaves. And if he doesn't have work or baseball practice or whatever it is, then I think that's an issue, because that why would he just leave so quickly in the morning? So invite him to breakfast. Do something to find out why this is happening. Because if it's something that's bothering you, then you have to take the responsibility and the accountability to say, I'm going to find out what this is all about.
Yeah, because that does imply that he doesn't want to spend that kind of time with you. I would be very sensitive to
Right.
that. So
Sure. Of course.
that's a really
That's
good
like
point.
hit and run, that's not
Yeah.
fair.
Again, the early on, so many different things, but as an ongoing thing, yes, that absolutely is concerning. At least I think so.
Hmm.
Finally, well, we again can't talk about this one enough either, is that he talks badly about his exes. I mean, that's such a big no-no for anything, whether it's the first date, the second date, the third date, into the relationship. But anyone who continuously talks badly about the past, in this case, women in their lives, there's they're not ready for another committed relationship.
Yeah, because they're harboring some type of resentment. So that's not a
Mhm.
good thing. I mean, after a while, if you've been with somebody, you're going to find out who they were with in the past and why it didn't work out, at
Mhm.
least top line level. But
Mhm.
that's about it. I mean, I wouldn't even want to know more than that, unless it was something, if it was abusive or something like
Yeah.
that. You want to just, let's focus on us and
Mhm.
doing the right thing, and like, let's let the past be the past. But everybody's got their baggage, particularly folks over 50 who are dating. So you got to be ready for that. But you have to, I think, skew the focus of the relationship towards us and going forward.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you there. Well, again, a topic we can, explore on many different levels. I think there were some really good reminders here that, again, the women out there, if you're looking for a committed relationship, here's some things that, if these points that we mentioned are bothering you one way or the other, it may be a flag, or it may be something you need to address, so you find out if it's an issue or not. Robert, anything else you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, I think again, everybody needs, if you have these concerns, do a little work to find out, do a little detective work, or ask in a nice way the right question to extract the information you're trying to get the answer to. And your concerns may be alleviated right away. Or
Mhm.
you may find out, hey, there's something going on here that is really troubling to me. But it's better than just letting it fester, or you worry and you wonder and you keep it to yourself. That's not going to do you any good. Get out there and make it happen. Find out what you need to find out by hook or by crook. Be smart, be clever. Women are good at that. They know how to get to the bottom of things. Do it.
I agree. Robert, thank you so much. As always, I appreciate your time, and we'll link to all of your information, your radio show now on UK Health Radio. We have all the links below. And of course, your book, The Guy's Guide to Love. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to our next conversation on Second Act TV.
Me too. Thank you, Silka.